BBC radio producer and Popmaster co-creator Phil Swern has sadly died at the age of 76, with many of his famous friends paying tribute on social media in the wake of his passing. Writing on Twitter, X, today, Ken Bruce said, "It's the saddest of days as my great friend Phil Swern has passed away. Phil was a brilliantly inventive man with a passion for music. He had a vast career as a record and radio producer, deviser of TV formats, and as the guiding light and co-creator of Popmaster. One half. He was a one-man fount of all pop knowledge, starting his record collection as a boy and still displaying the same enthusiasm into his 70s. Without him, there would be no Popmaster, on radio or TV. He leaves a giant gap in my life and in the lives of so many." Two halves. The official account for Popmaster shared. "Sadly today, we said goodbye to Phil Swern, the collector, for many years the driving force behind Popmaster's content. His wife Lyndsey was at his side. His favorite song was Nat King Cole's What a Wonderful World. We will miss our gentle man." Tony Blackburn was the one to break the sad news on social media, writing on Facebook, "I am so sad to say that my dear friend of over 60 years Phil the collector, Swern, passed away yesterday after a long illness. He was very respected in the music business for his music knowledge and professionalism, but above all he was a lovely, kind and funny man. I was so glad I saw him and his wife Lyndsey on Friday, and was able to have a final chat with him. He passed away at home with his wife Lyndsey, who has been at his side looking after him. My love goes out to her and his family. We will all miss him very much." He added on Twitter, "I am very sad to say that my dear friend of over 60 years, and producer of at BBC Radio 2 Sound of the 60s, passed away yesterday afternoon after a long illness. I am so glad I saw him and his wife Lyndsey last Friday. Phil, the collector, Swern will be missed by us all." A spokesperson from BBC Radio 2 today said, "Everyone at Radio 2 is saddened to hear the news that Phil Swern has passed away. He was an extremely talented producer whose career at Radio 2 spanned many years. He was a much-loved colleague with an unparalleled knowledge of music. Our thoughts are with his family." A legend in the industry, Phil made a mark with his contributions to iconic shows such as Sounds of the 60s alongside Brian Matthew, steering Pick of the Pops on Radio 1 during the late 80s and early 90s, and helming it again on BBC Radio 2 from 1997 all the way through to 2023. Furthermore, since 2007 up until last year, he put his heart into producing Sounds of the 60s for Radio 2. His creative talents also extended to devising questions for Radio 2's Ken Bruce's Popmaster quiz. Phil's expertise was not limited to BBC Radio. He had a stint at Capital Radio fronting the Sunday afternoon quiz show You Ain't Heard Nothing Yet, and was part of the launch crew at Capital Gold. His most recent appearance was on Boom Radio during last Bank Holiday Monday, showcasing Phil Swern's hidden gems drawn from his vast music collection. Beyond the airwaves, Phil produced chart-topping records, authored music books, contributed to television, and boasted ownership of every UK top 40 hit since the charts began in 1952. For his significant influence and dedication, Phil was honored with a BAFTA Gold Badge Award in 2010, cementing his legacy in the music industry. Follow Mirror Celebs on TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube and Threads.